Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Audio Quest. We give people a few minutes to get into the chat here, into the room. Thanks for joining us this evening. We're going to catch up with our good friend Cimcie Nichols.
Hey,
Thanks for joining today, Nick. Thanks for joining as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll let everybody kind of float in. Cimcie was on the road today, but she was gracious enough to join us for a bit to catch up. She and I were connecting recently on talking about Steely Dan quadraphonic. And so I said, well, let's talk about it a little bit. And it's something that maybe Cimcie, you are just finding out about a little bit, I guess.
Can you all hear me okay? I'm sorry. I just actually
perfectly.
changed the direction of my mic.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So the quad albums came out in the earlier 70, 73, 74, and they lasted maybe 3 years in the market, and that was it. there were three different formats competing by different labels to have a different way of decoding it. And it was just like the Sony Betamax versus VHS fight. You know, only one survived, but in the case of quad, none of them survived because the appetite wasn't big enough for it actually in the market. So
is that because people just didn't have the 4-speaker systems? It was just too.
It was a lot of equipment. Yeah, a lot of it was there was equipment challenges. You had to buy either a new receiver with decoders or separate decoders, and of course you had to add more speakers. So there was a hardware threshold. There was the fact that every album you got, you could have one of those three different ways that it was encoded. So you had to have something that could. The best solution was to have something that could decode all three. Because if I bought one that could only do one of the three, and then an album I bought wasn't that type, it didn't do me any good. So
when you're saying decoding, then so the vinyl player had to. I'm sorry, this is a little before my time. What do you mean?
That's okay. There were two of the types were what are called matrix, and they basically the record was still standard 2 grooves and all that kind of thing. It was just that the way they mixed it. They did like a plus versus minus overlapping of the left and right channels to get a back channel sound. And then that was encoded into the mastering. And then when it was played back, it needed something to undo that, essentially. So those were called decoders. And there were two types of those. There was SQ, which was basically Columbia Records, CBS. And then QS, which was Sansui, which was a lot of different labels, including Steely Dan. QS was Steely Dan, and ABC Dunhill used that type. So those two didn't require like a different stylus or anything. You could use a standard type turntable and stylus, but you had to have a thing to decode it. And then the third one was the most complicated. It was called CD4. And it actually was one where you had to have a special cartridge that got up to 45,000 hertz, really in the range, because it had a like a carrier signal that you couldn't hear because it was cut at 30,000. You can't hear it, but this unit could hear it, and this cartridge would send that, and then when the carrier got to the demodulator, it would split the channels. So it was a more complicated way, but it was more discrete. It gave you better separation than the other two. So
something I think your father must have thoroughly enjoyed doing that.
Yeah,
I think he was kind of nerdy into getting perfection, and I think he would have dug that.
Yeah, there's for sure a few moments like this where I wish he was still here for me to ask him about it, because
oh, sure.
I mean, like, I actually, I learned more about him kind of. So like, he's my dad and I know my dad, but it's a different relationship, like father-daughter, versus like colleague. So When he died, though, and I started archiving a lot of his stuff, and I sat at my parents' house for almost 6 months, and I went through every piece of paper. I went through every piece of gear. And it was actually the first time I like was allowed to touch any of his stuff because he was dead.
Yeah.
And then I was like kind of learning more about my dad after he passed in a way I didn't ever like look at, it's like I knew he was a great engineer and I understood, but I mean, after he died, I really started to kind of get a better appreciation for what he did. And then since my family and I had this like beautiful archive of stuff, people started asking me questions. So then I had to kind of learn enough to understand what people were asking me, like if I found this, or have you seen this, or when I found something, people would tell me what it was. And so I have learned a lot more since he died. But yeah, stuff like this, someone was asking me recently if I had access to the quad mixes because they do events in quadraphonic sound. And so, I'm used to like 5.1, or I understand 5.1, and there's all this, there's even like, how many 0.1s are there? There's like 7 or 8.1. Like I went to an experience. I mean, there's really immersive audio now.
Yeah.
But they specifically asked me if I had access to those quadraphonic like mixes because we were talking about doing an immersive experience. Oh, sorry, y'all.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
We're in the real world. We're in the real world. Okay.
That's right.
So I had somebody ask me if I had access to that because we were going to do an immersive experience at a restaurant where we were going to play some of the Steely Dan quad mixes and serve drinks that were associated with the songs or the albums. And so we were going to create like kind of like a night of Steely Dan where you're immersed in the original quad mixes, and then you have drinks that go along with the album, like thematic drinks, and and so so I've been really big into immersive experiences lately, and that's why I was like, wait a minute, I remember David talking about having the quad mixes. So thank you.
Were you able to download those? Were you able to get them? Good.
No,
okay, cool.
just I didn't download anything. Sorry, my father. I feel like he's hovering around. I don't know if he. I don't have any bootlegs.
No, it's not a bootleg. Believe me, I paid for them all.
Yeah, thank you though. I don't have a vinyl player to play them, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I can send you digital. Yeah, and I've got, like I said, I've got a lot of quads, not just those. So if that other person needs them, please let me know. I can share with them as well. So
I remember you talking about that. I think the last time we had a conversation, I feel like it was 3 years ago, maybe 2023.
Feels like 3 years. That's
time flies.
So how, when you were going through his stuff, how old were you at that time? Because he died, 2011? Is that right?
Yeah.
So that was, how many years ago is that now? 15? Actually, 15. April.
Yeah.
Oh my God, April 9th, I think he passed. So April 9th, 2011. So I was just 30. I was 30. Okay. Wow. I mean, it's so long ago now, 15 years, 16 years, almost 15 years.
Yeah.
That's hard.
I really wish he was around to see, because I don't think back then there wasn't as big of a Steely Dan renaissance. I think like the term yacht rock had just come out and there was maybe some chatter about it, but I feel like the last 5 years, there's been a really big resurgence. I think, the younger people that were now turning like early 20s were finding Steely Dan. 15 years ago, they would have been 5 or 6. So they hadn't like grown up enough to appreciate it. But yeah, I really wish he was around to see that, because, oh my gosh, like the younger generation, like that was his main goal, even as a teacher. Like after he did all those records, he was always doing master classes, but the past like 10 years of his life, he was really teaching a lot. And he always said that he loved teaching 101 classes too. He loved teaching beginner and junior classes because he said if I can help the kids learn how to make good sounding records, I will have good stuff to listen to. Like, so he was
And a
all about
legacy. Yes.
teaching the younger kids how to make good records. So he had stuff to listen to that didn't like drive him nuts.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, Cimcie, because I interviewed Susan Rogers, who was the engineer for Prince, and she teaches at the Berkeley School, and your dad taught there as well, the Berkeley School of Music, and she mentioned him. So it's funny that
Oh my
connection.
God. I need to get a hold of Susan Rogers, actually.
Oh, really? Well, I have her info. I can send it to you.
Oh my God, I love that you mentioned her because I actually, the past 3 or 4 years, I really started taking a deep dive. Can you guys hear me okay? My mic's kind of far away. Okay.
No, you're fine.
I got my podcasting mic. Look,
I love
it. Professional.
Your mic. I love it. High end.
So I've actually the past 4 years taken a deep dive into sound for healing, vibroacoustic therapy, sound therapy. I design and perform sound baths, and I was really lucky that I was given the green light to bring some conversations to NAMM, which is this really big music trade show in California. And I did a series the past couple of years called Good Vibrations, the Science of Sound and Music for Healing. And then this year we did a talk on psychoacoustics. And I know she's really big in psychoacoustics. So I'd actually tried to reach out to her.
Oh, yeah.
To be on my panel. Because sound baths and immersive sound, alchemy experiences, all that stuff has really helped me the past few years. Just like meditate and relax, and it's really helped my nervous system a lot. But yeah, even vibroacoustic therapy, even electromagnetic frequencies, like there's this whole other realm of sound to explore.
And she was on and we talked about psychoacoustics and we really took a deep dive on that. And then I got involved with a group locally that uses sound and mixing and music to help people that are autistic. So there, if you look on my channel, I'll send you the links. There's some videos of that and then her interviews, but I will give you her contact. So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. So
I'll have to look at your episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I really think the healing aspect of music and sound is beyond what we recognize. And so she's really a forebearer of that, I think. And so that's a lot of what she's teaching now at Berkeley. So interestingly enough. So
I don't know if we've tapped all that sound has to offer to the human species. In my youth, a friend of the family was an engineer. And if you all remember, before computers, there was microfilm. And the way they stored it was in jackets. And those jackets, you slid the film in. And to seal it, to separate one fish from another, they used glue to slide the microfilm into. Well, he developed ultrasound waves to seal the plastic sleeves. And he had contracts around the world because he revolutionized the storage of microfilm by using ultrasonic waves to seal the plastic so it would never wear out, the glue would never separate, and you'd never have to buy them again. And of course, computers came and that died, but there was a use of sonic waves that, who knows what's next in that realm.
Yeah.
I understand there's possibly sonic weapons coming out. Lord knows what's coming.
Yeah, it's like the good and the evil, right? In Star Wars, you got your good force and your dark force, and the same thing can be used either way.
Yeah, well, it's like the internet, right?
Yes, yes, that was the latest Satan, right?
Right. They're all out there. if anybody doesn't know, I mean, the impact and the work that Roger did in his work. I mean, he invented Wendell. We'll talk about Wendell was really the first electronic kind of music making machine, drum machine that was around. And he also, of course, had quite a few awards. You could see here in 77, he was awarded Best Engineer for Asia. 78, Best Engineer for FM, Steely Dan soundtrack. Then
what's fun about that?
Huh?
Okay, so what's fun about this Grammy for Best Engineer, non-classical FM?
Yeah,
that was the only time a Grammy Award was given to a song off a compilation. They actually stopped doing it after that because it's a soundtrack, really? But only the song FM got the Grammy for Best Engineer.
Oh wow!
I get it. I get it.
See, it was the movie FM, and they stopped doing that. This is the only time anybody's ever gotten a Grammy for one song off a soundtrack.
Interesting. And that is one of my favorite compilations. It's really good.
Yeah, it is.
And matter of fact, Nick showed me, he found a 12-inch version of that song, just that song on one full 12-inch disc.
That's cool. So, and then this one, 97, John Denver. That's the only Grammy John Denver.
Right. Only one he ever got. That was related.
The award shows, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that people are celebrated. Like, you know what? It depends. It depends on who it was up against. Because like John Denver, I feel like should have won before this. Yeah. But I'm happy they gave him one. And even the Two Against Nature album, that was such an uproar because in 2000, when Steely Dan won Album of the Year, it was up against Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP, like Kid A, Radiohead. It was up against some like huge mega albums. And then Steely Dan won, and everybody was like, what? Such an uproar. I think they got like, it was shocking. We were shocked. I think they were shocked. Everyone was shocked. But
maybe it was the Sentimentality Award at that point or something.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like they probably should have won for Gaucho or Asia, but what were they up against? I don't know. I'd have to look at what else they were up against that year.
Our vinyl community has a long, storied history of beating the heck out of awards and shows and stuff. Boy,
okay,
I mean, you want to stir a hornet's nest? Just bring it up in any topic.
I could tell there was a reaction there. I was about to ask, what was that? You guys?
We were just doing that the other day. Yeah,
but recently it's been about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees, and they're nominating things that we kind of wonder, are they really rock and roll? But that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, we're not.
But I don't think. I honestly don't think anybody questions Asia or Gaucho for winning at all. Those were really solid in the year they were in. Here's a question from one of our guests. Did your father ever discuss with you whether the merits of using tubes versus solid state for recording music? What?
I'm so sorry, cranberry sauce. Like, first of all, I love cranberry sauce.
Oh, good.
But
wait till you get to know
especially at Thanksgiving. So I'm so sorry. I do not know the answer to that question. I think we would have to ask one of my dad's proteges. What do you call who they helped mentor? Yeah, I'd have to ask his recording engineer friends about that.
Yeah. I think he talks about it a bit in his book, Cranberry Sauce. I have his book on engineering, and he talks about it there. Just FYI. It's an interesting book on how to master and how to produce. Even comes with a floppy disk of samples and things with it. I don't know if you've ever seen that book, Cimcie.
Are you talking about the Recording 101 book or something else? Oh yeah, no, that was somebody. Our friend Mike Lawson helped us. Our friend Mike Lawson helped us put together Dad's lectures and to do like a recording 101 book because he did master classes and he taught a lot. So we took all his documents and we put it together. He actually has worked on an update because that was tied to Pro Tools and the sessions get outdated really quickly because it was supposed to be like a hands-on workshop. So he actually, Mike Lawson just did a whole like evergreen version that we're going to release pretty soon. So that'll be nice to have like a little evergreen Roger Nichols recording book. That's what we're working towards.
Okay. Good. Well,
oh my gosh. I feel like this question is a setup. I feel like y'all are trying to set me up with this question.
No.
Okay, would you be mad if I said no? But okay, to be fair, I don't have a record player.
That'll do it.
My dad had vinyl, but he went quickly to digital, and I think CDs were his favorite. I mean, like, so he died in 2011. So up to that, he really hated MP3s, but he really hated the clicks and the pops on vinyl. So he was a real purist and he wanted to hear sound in its cleanest form. So he did not play vinyl records at home. He went to there was like laser discs for a minute and then CDs, and he had a 5.1 surround system. So we were super high tech. I love the resurgence for vinyl because having physical media, I think, is really important. Because even CDs, you had booklets and you had something to play. I mean, MP3s squashed the sound so bad. He really hated those. He actually didn't even want to vote on best engineered recording anymore because everything was so squashed. It had no dynamic range and
they were compressed and loudness.
This is so long-winded, but I'm trying to be nice about but I didn't even grow up in a house that made vinyl. My dad, his mission was to take clicks and pops out of records so that when the medium moved forward, he was quick to adopt like CDs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, he was a techie guy. I mean, he liked the technical side. So
because you could take pieces of music from separate tracks and blend them together so easily with digital that I can't see how he wouldn't have loved it.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys then. So since you listen to vinyl a lot and I'm on a live stream with a lot of vinyl collectors, what do you think the sound difference is between like vinyl, CDs, tapes? Like, what is the difference? What do you feel like? Is it just having it in your hand or is it an actual audio difference?
I'll let you go first, Nick.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
For me, of course you like to have the physical in your hand. It's but you also like the liner notes. You like the extra information, the artwork, and all. But that's secondary to when you put a well-recorded album on a decent vinyl setup. You're listening to me. There's more body into the music. There's warmth, more musicality. I hate to use that word. There's a better word is body, but it's
I get what you're saying. It's like a wine that has a nice body to it. Like if there's a good wine, it has some body to it.
It can. I mean, even the atmospheric pressure can make it sound different from one day to the next. Whereas, a lot of digital, I have CDs, I have streaming, and I don't get the same satisfaction as hearing what that needle is transmitting to the preamp, to the amp, through the whole system, and it just it can sound different one pressing to another, so you can find better and worse recordings. I find with a CD, it's pretty much going to be the same if it's from one CD to the next. If it's the same pressing, it's not going to have that hard body because with digital sounds ones and zeros, stops and goes, and it's smooth, but there's a difference. So it's really hard to say. Of course, it would be a lot easier to collect and listen to CDs because they take a tremendous less amount of storage space.
Yeah,
and they cost less.
Oh, absolutely. And unfortunately, I'm addicted to all forms of music. I also do a lot of Atmos. They're starting to get really good at doing Atmos recordings, well, remasters, and some of it is not as I imagined, and it was really brings out the artist, the engineering artist that's taking the material that's already there and then making it new again, which I found with some recent Doors recordings I've gotten. So yeah, they all have their side, their upside, their downside. It just depends on what you want. And I find that vinyl, you get something out of the tradition and the physical going through the motion, but also the full warmth and body of it. And you can flavor it with tubes, you can change it with solid state. It's just so many different ways to go. So it's hard to nail down why you like one over the other because there's joy in all of it. As long as the music's good, I'll listen.
I do know my dad, he really hated cassettes. I remember that. My dad was very passionate. So I use the word hate
we get it.
we
get it. Yeah, absolutely.
But vinyl, my dad grew up on it, and his mission actually was to get into the recording business so he could take the clicks and pops out of records. Because, I was here, click, click, click. It's like the older recordings. That was his mission, is to make clean sounding records. But the warmth I get, because he wasn't opposed to recording an analog. Like, he understood that there was some warmth. It was actually like part of it was like almost another instrument. It was like, when you record in a space, like the room is where you record it's part of the experience, right? It's part of the band. Yeah, like where you record is important. What you record on is important. It's all choices. So if somebody preferred recording an analog because of that warmth and that body, he just always suggested you transfer it to digital as soon as possible because the tape degraded quicker. That was his.
One of the nice things about living in today is the fact that they're repressing a lot of the albums, and there's no pops ticks. Or your dad would love being able to go out and buy a brand new.
I wonder what they're.
And there's no hiss, pops, ticks on the vinyl of today. Usually you get that when it's a party album and it's been abused, or the gear from
loved. It's been loved.
The gear of days gone by is not as good as the gear that's of today. And of course, the records were made for the gear of the day as well. So you had to have a lot more leniency in what could be played on the record players of older days.
Yeah, if mastering just makes such a huge difference, mastering for CD, mastering for vinyl.
Yep.
A lot of CDs are mastered in a way that doesn't really take advantage of their best sound. Whether it was the loudness wars or whether it's just that they don't have the ability to quite give it the same warmth that a cut can do on.
Do you know who? Sorry to interject, but do you know the very first CD that started the loudness wars?
No, tell me.
I remember this from the 90s. This is one thing I remember my dad saying. Brandy's self-titled album, Brandy, in like 97, 98. That was the very first record that the producer just turned it all up and it was loud. And then everybody went, wait, we want ours to be that loud. So Brandy's the very first CD, according to my dad, that started the loudness wars in the 90s.
Is that the band or the title of the album? Is it the band or title of the album?
It's a singer. She's a
singer. Okay.
She's a singer. So Brandy was her name, and her album was just self-titled brandy. So
Okay.
sorry to interrupt, but I thought that was a fun fact.
No, that's cool. Yeah. So I mean, now we had a guy on last week, Yeah, last week, and they recorded the album and they made it for vinyl. They mic'd it to be best for vinyl. They mastered it to vinyl first, and then they took and transferred that to CD and didn't do anything at all to it except just transfer it. And it is the most exact comparison of a CD to an LP. You close your eyes, you really couldn't tell the difference, except maybe you'd hear a little bit of surface noise between the tracks. So the point is, if it's done right, they can be pretty darn equivalent, but they're done differently and separately. And because of that, it's a mixed bag.
Well, even
because you can get an album that's not mastered well by somebody too. There's guys who have been mastering. Matter of fact, one of the guys that mastered the $30 Steely Dan reissues, he is a guy who his name's Alex Abrash. He's used to dealing with digital, and when he put it to vinyl, it was just too much. It was just too much.
The new ones that they did, what were they called? The UHQ.
No, the UHQR are fine. Those are good. It's because those are fine. Those are the 2 LP ones. I'm talking about the ones that Universal sold in regular stores for $30 on 1 LP. Those are the ones.
Okay, and then this is another conversation because I remember I watched all my dad's lectures because the goal has always been to make a documentary about him. So I've done a lot of archiving, and so I have listened to a lot of his lectures. And he did have a situation where there was the CD was released. I forget of what album. I have to figure it out. And everybody was like, yeah, that one sounds good though, right?
Those sound great. Those sound great.
Okay. That was a thing to do.
Where'd you get that, Nick?
From a wonderful friend of mine. This one was full rate.
Yeah. They sound amazing.
Incredible recordings.
Go ahead, Cimcie.
Okay, I'm trying to see if I have it somewhere, but there was basically they released a CD, and this happens a lot. And instead of taking like the original masters, they found like some copy of a master of a tape of a whatever, and they just used that to print the CD. And somebody said, "Wait a minute, why does it sound so shitty?" And then my dad started to research it, and they found that they had just taken some tape that was on the shelf that was like 3 generations, down the line, and used that. So who knows what we're listening to, unless you have a guy like, if you have guys or girls like my dad, and like he was there from the beginning to the end. He even has a story where he took the test lacquers and he had them on like ice or something, and he rushed them to the plant. Like, he was there from the beginning to the final product to make sure that nobody messed it up at any point in that chain, right? Because there's so many instances where somebody just wouldn't care and do something. And so, I mean, I love that you said that person they mic'd it for vinyl, and they did it like they did that. Like they committed 110%.
Yeah, they did.
And it sounded great. And it was great.
It was their mission. I mean, that was a requirement of the recording process. So, and they got what they didn't skimp on who they got to master it, and they didn't skimp on who they got to press it, and they got a great end result, so like anything else, if you put the effort into it.
That's the takeaway, is finding people that care passionately about something. Then as long as you do everything to the best of your ability, like, those products are really going to stand the test of time. And especially now, I mean, I guess at any point, I feel like I'm so overloaded with like so much, like the internet. I feel like there's been a flattening of society. I feel like we've just been on social media, like technology, everything has its pros and its cons, but we've been so inundated with social media and now AI. I feel like I'm so fried I really want to grasp and hold on to things like that are done with intention, and create products that have feeling and have meaning. Because I'm just like, my nervous system is fried, y'all, for being on the internet and like doing like everything is just so flat. And like somebody even said too that they don't get tired. I see the chat here that their ears don't get tired listening to the vinyls. They do CDs.
Right.
I mean, that is a discussion that, like, you know, the audio, like when you're in the room and you hear a band, it doesn't chop off like as much as the frequencies as when you're listening to it on like CD or streaming. And your brain actually has to work harder. And actually, Susan Rogers might have some thoughts on this. Your brain has to actually work harder to fill in what it's supposed to sound like, because it's like chopping it off. Like you only get this much of the range, and you know the instruments are all out here. And I'm not explaining it as well as I could, but I don't, you know, the idea
we were built for analog, not digitally converted analog, but for analog. I mean, that's you know, hearing what's in the natural world. It's funny you're talking about passionate people. I've heard stories, a lot of stories, that the people that have the most passion are people that listen to the music, engineers, the mastering artists, the different people. The band, a lot of the bands, they'll dump it off, say, here, do whatever you got to do. We're going, goodbye. And they never see the band again. Have you heard that story, Dave? I've heard that story so many times. It's like, wow. And then, of course, there are the exceptions to that, you know, like Steely Dan and so many others. But I've heard so many stories that the band is just, they've recorded it. We're done. We're disinterested. Go make us some money. And that's the end of it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. There's different levels of engagement. Yeah, very much.
The people that take it from that point forward show it all the love and the care and the generosity of their time.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a comment from one of our learned people. CD sampling cannot capture the ultra high frequency of room air. We know that sound is natural, and when it's not there, it sounds like a vacuum. Yeah. I've had albums that sound like a Hoover to me, but no, that's a whole different kind of vacuum. But anyway, he did. And then I say that album sucks, but that's a whole different. Oh, yeah. So your dad, he did most of John Denver's stuff. And isn't there a story about he was supposed to meet him for flying the day of or day before John's incident? You remember that, Cimcie? Can't hear you.
Mic's off. There you go.
Your mic is
Sorry,
off.
there was background noise, so I put it on mute.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tragic story. My dad produced and engineered John Denver from 1980 on. So right after his really big, huge successes, like Country Roads and all that stuff was in the 70s. But he basically sought my dad out. And my dad wasn't like a huge John Denver fan. I mean, you're hanging out with Steely Dan guys, like,
yeah, different.
You know, like John Denver, like, what is that? But my dad said as soon as he met him, he became the biggest John Denver fan in the world, because John Denver was so enigmatic and he was so passionate and he was such a great person. And I feel like he was one of the first celebrities that actually used his celebrity to make changes in the world. He had all these initiatives. He actually helped. He was the one who went to Russia and got the cultural agreement signed and then the artists went over there in the 80s and did like the Live in Russia stuff, Live in the USSR. That was because of John Denver.
Wow.
And so they were best friends. John Denver was another, am I not allowed to say gear slut anymore? You
say whatever you like.
Gear Slut's got taken down, but I think my dad, they changed their name to Gear Space, and I'm like, doesn't bother me. Like, I'm fine.
Gearaholic.
Gearaholic.
Yeah.
John Denver was a bigger gear slut than my dad. They like got on a plane and flew to Japan to get the very first CDR or something. Like they were like,
wow.
Not bad for each other. They like were for sure like the same type of gearhead person. So yes, my dad was supposed to be on the plane with him. Like he helped him pick the plane out. They had a lot of similarities where they both grew up in the Air Force. My dad's father was a pilot during World War II. And so John was born in Roswell, New Mexico, and he was an Air Force kid too. So they had a lot of similarities. They loved gear. They loved scuba diving. My dad actually certified John Denver to scuba dive. Cool. So they, you know, he did all that stuff with Cousteau. And so, yeah. And, you know, my dad, he sought my dad out because he was like, I want my records to sound like that. And so they had a meeting and my dad went, I think it was like the Beverly Hills Hotel to meet with John Denver. And he was like, I want you to make my record sound great. And then they produced this record. I forget the title of it. But it was actually one of John's favorite records. It was him working to get out of like the country folk into more of like the pop rock section. And John Denver had a really strange like music industry career because everybody kind of gave him a hard time. Like somebody like set his, you know, like he like won an award at like the country music awards. They like somebody set his thing on fire that he won the award. Like everybody hated him, like the country music people and then the rock pop people. So he had kind of a hard time finding a place.
Yeah.
But John Denver was the most famous celebrity in the world. People in China, that's how they learned how to speak English, was by listening to Country Roads. When they went to the USSR, nobody spoke English in the crowd, but they could sing along to his songs word by word.
Yeah.
John Denver, Mickey Mouse, and like those were like the most famous people in the world at one point, right? Especially like 70s and 80s. So yeah, Dad, you know, John Denver, he was a great guy. He'd show up for you in the middle of the night, you know, no problems. And you know, my dad and John were best friends, and he invited him to come take the plane out because he had it painted or whatever. And my dad could not make it because he was in the studio and he was in Nashville. And he said, look, you just go ahead and I'll meet you in California and then we'll do the next leg of it. And then that's when he got the call that he crashed. So that was really tragic because that he was for sure gone too soon. I mean, I know John lived a very big life, but he was only in his 50s. I mean, like I think of like how much more he could have done if he had another 30 years on the planet. Because he was one of the celebrities that actually took his celebrity and did stuff with it, you know?
He had gotten this plane I'm showing there. It's called a Longhi Z2-seater. And I read the NTSB report, and he had only flown that plane for 30 minutes once prior. It was new to him. And one of the rudder placements wasn't quite where he thought it was. And that contributed to what ended up happening. So it was really tragic so many ways.
I've heard that the gas tank
wasn't full enough. Yeah.
Or they painted it. Maybe they didn't even put it back together correctly. I heard it was like a gas tank issue because John, I will say, was a really skilled pilot. Like he was a pro.
Well, apparently the one he bought was somebody had owned it before and they modified the location of the rudder slightly. And but the gas thing was they didn't know if he didn't refuel before he took off, and they didn't know if that was contributed to it at all either. So, but those were the two main things I read in the NTSB. But anyway, I mean, but it's fortuitous that your dad didn't go that day, right? I guess that's the
yeah. He was supposed to be on the plane, and John Denver he was actually supposed to be on the Challenger. Did y'all see that? And at the last minute, they put the teacher on instead.
I've heard that story. Yes.
Yeah. He loved, they used to go watch rocket launches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty tragic thing.
Yeah. Here's one. He said he heard a John Denver and opera singer Placido Domingo recorded at a high-end audio show.
That's my favorite song. Not the one with Placido Domingo, but Perhaps Love was John. I think it was my dad's favorite song. We played it at my dad's memorial. John played it. They played it, I think, at John's memorial. I played it for my walking down the aisle. Perhaps Love is such a beautiful song.
Yes.
Beautiful song.
Yeah. No,
I wasn't going to say, I see that your commenter said he had a Destiny. I know, that was for sure.
Yeah, like when you said Challenger, I'm like, yeah, he was he was going to be aeronautically challenged one way or the other, I guess. Nope. It just seemed like, yeah, that's so tragically true. So tragically true. So let's catch up on what you're doing now. I know you've got your sound therapy thing going, and you got a bottle of something there too.
Yeah, what you selling?
You got your hatchet?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, just I'm really focused in on sound therapy and sound healing. I design and I perform sound baths. I have a vibroacoustic table. I'm really, really excited about all the immersive experience these days. And I really feel like we were talking about, like, the flattening of society, and just everyone's been fried for the past 6 years of being online and the pandemic. And I'm really focused on helping people get back into their body. And I think activating all 5 senses is an important part of that. So sound therapy has been a beautiful way for me to participate in the audio community. Like, I create and do immersive, like, sound experiences. It's very alchemical. It feels so calming. But I also launched a beverage brand called Hatchet Granny. And so it's a beautiful liquid. It's floral, it's herbal, it's citrusy. It's a mixer. And so I launched a beverage brand, and I do pop-up elixir bars, and I'm producing a soda right now with my goal to actually open an elixir bar and tea house. So, it's just been a really fun thing for me to do the past couple of years, because I love beverages. I've been sober since 2002. It's a non-alcoholic mixer. Yay! It feels like an herbal hug.
Oh, nice.
There you go. There's yep. So it's just, immersive experiences, drinking things, hearing things, feeling things, touching things, seeing things. Like, it's just a really fun and kind of fulfilling industry to be in right now. Beverages. Wait, and then, so you actually own a restaurant, right?
Yes, I do.
You do? Yeah. So, beverages, non-alcoholic beverages, they're big right now.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you can check out Cimcie's stuff at the website I show here, cimcie.com. And she's also got some videos on YouTube, not always all recent, but some on her dad as well that I want you guys to check out as well. Yep. I am Cimcie is her handle on YouTube. But I know I really appreciate you taking the time today. I know you were traveling. You're probably tired, but I really appreciate you coming on and catching up with us. And
actually,
please,
sorry to interrupt, but I see a comment from Cranberry Sauce. So this isn't actually named after Lizzie Borden, but she also did have a hatchet. Really quickly. Hatchet Granny is the nickname of Carrie A. Nation, who was the leader of the temperance movement, and she would go into bars in Kansas in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and she would destroy them with a hatchet. She called them murder mills, and one husband died from alcoholism, another one left her, and so she started recruiting all these other grannies, and they would storm bars and just destroy them with a hatchet, and they called them the Hatchet Grannies. So
she's the great grandmother of Lorena Bobbitt? No.
I see what you did there. That audacity. That is Hatchet Granny. Lorena Bobbitt was probably fueled by Hatchet Granny, though. That just bury the hatchet.
Bury the hatchet. But don't bury the granny.
Don't bury the granny. So yeah, we wanted to lean into the audacity and the fun. I mean, life is so ridiculous. So it's been a lot of fun to work with this branding. It's been really bold and kind of alternative, which is what I have the most fun in. I actually really love gothic and industrial music. That's like my favorite.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to see 9 Inch Nails in a couple of days.
Oh, nice. So, what you said you're gonna do? You're gonna when you do your quadraphonic thing. What part? Where are you? What area? You're in Georgia, or where are you doing that?
So we're gonna do it in Long Beach. I've been traveling, but I've been spending a lot of time in Los Angeles these days. So yeah, we're gonna do it in this restaurant in Long Beach. So
nice.
I'll keep y'all posted.
Please.
By the way, I meant to ask about your mom. How's Connie doing?
Thank you for asking. She's great. She's having fun being a grandma. My sister,
Ashley,
has a couple kids. So yep, she's having fun being a grandma. So thank you for asking.
Well, good. Give her our best. She was quite a talent. Is quite a talent.
Yeah, she was also backup singer for John Denver, and she's actually really an amazing playwright. She's wrote a lot of
I read that about her. Yeah.
Well, she's a beautiful writer and singer. So thanks for asking. It was really nice to catch up with you guys. Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Keep in touch. Thanks for being here, Cimcie. Take care. Bye, everybody. Thanks for that. We'll stay on. Thanks, everybody, and we'll stay on for our next segment. Thanks, Cimcie. Bye. Yeah, she's a great gal.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, great young lady. Yeah, so very sweet.
Do you have something?
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Now, what is the breaking news? Is that Nick bought some vinyl file records?
Yes, I did.
So, what are your thoughts, at least at a macro level?
Yes, because I have to ship to you. So, the packaging is first rate. Even down to the inner sleeve was seemed to be of a heavier gauge and more durable inner sleeve. Of course, I don't know if they're Stoughton. I don't know if they are, but they're very beautifully done outer sleeves. The vinyl is flawless from what I can. From what I've listened to, I've listened to one album 3 times and then a couple other albums.
Well, what album have you listened to? Have you listened to? Tell. You can tell them what you bought. It's okay.
Okay, let's see if I remember. I bought Peter Frampton, which
comes live.
Was that?
Live. Comes alive. Frampton comes alive. 2 LP.
Yes. Then also Heart.
Dreamboat Annie.
Yep, Dreamboat Annie. Dreamboat Annie I listened to 3 times.
Me too. At least.
Well, these were consecutive. So yeah, it was really good.
It is an excellent.
And then the Christmas album, Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole.
It really is a must buy.
Nick had his chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Yes, I did. They're well done now. But that was it's the best version I've heard. I don't have the UHQR or whatever but this was outstanding, and for the price, I don't think you can beat it. It's outstanding. All of them packaged great, great sound. I'm going to be shipping the Frampton Comes Live to Dave and let him do a shootout. I did listen to a couple other versions of the album, but I'm holding that in reserve. I want to hear Dave's opinions first. I don't want to soil his brain.
Yeah, you want to taint my opinion. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But it was a very fun Sunday. Listen to some great music. Great
way to spend a Sunday, huh?
Yeah, well, absolutely. It was The weather was 81 degrees here, beautifully and sunny, but I had a problem with my foot, so I'll blame it on that, and it was some great music.
Yeah, blame it on that. Why don't you?
Yes, indeed.
All right, guess what it's time for? Name that tune. Well, I got good news for everybody. I got 5 brand new songs for this week. We're going to start with Scratch, a brand new one.
Yes. And let's see. Cranberry Sauce won a record last week, right?
Yes. I haven't heard back from him yet. I think I sent him an email.
Okay. And this week we're working towards that goal. No one can actually win a record this week, but you can add to your total. And
okay, so what do we got for? We got Dave, I know, on there.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. We got Cranberry Sauce 1, David with 1, Concert Buddy with 1, Harcum Moore with 1, Mugu Mugu 1, Kelly with 1. Can't even pronounce K-Terio, yeah, with 2. Dr. Johnny Fever with 1. Breakfast King of Loyola 2. Andy G 1. Dawson Waters 1, and Caesar has 2.
Caesar has 2. Hang in there, Caesar.
2.
All right. Well, we're gonna start. First song. It's back in the 1960s. I'll give you a little hint.
Well, that was generous.
Between 1960 and 1965, that range. And I'll give you an extra point if you can tell me who wrote it.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that sounds like a trick.
Not a trick.
Okay. Yeah. Popsicles and Icicles.
That is correct, by the Mermaids.
Well, you didn't give them the opportunity to. Well, yeah.
No, I said who wrote it. Now, I haven't said who wrote it.
Okay.
That's who sang it.
David Gates wrote it.
He got them both. Damn.
Yeah, I told you you're making it too easy. Good job, David.
Gosh.
You forgot who you're dealing with, Dave.
Here's the good news, everybody else. He's eliminated now for tonight.
I told you. You forget who you're dealing with. We have pros out there.
I know. All right.
What's number 2?
Number 2. From the 70s.
Wyo knows them all. From the 70s. Hard one.
That's a harder one. Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, got me. Carpenters. Yeah, it's not the name of the song. Love Backwards?
Muskrat Love Backwards. No?
Oh, yeah. Nice guess. So close.
Caesar has the artist correct, but not. I don't see the name of the song yet.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
I'll play a little more. He's probably racking his brain out now that he knows who it is.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't know the name. You know the sound. That's interesting. Oh, my. Well, you'll hear Karen's voice in the next sample.
Which will be next week, folks.
Plays a song we can slow dance on.
Or maybe he'll play
That's
it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Uh-huh.
Give me some 90s and I'll hit it out of the park.
Okay. So
okay, I think I got one. We'll see if you hit it out of the park on it.
245s. Yesterday, once more.
No, and you can't guess anymore.
Yes, you got,
You
David.
got 2 points.
What's the matter for you?
It is not yesterday one. Ah! Okay, here's one that's more recent. We'll see if Cesar can get it.
Okay. Huh? Yesterday, once more. Wait. No. Funky but chick?
No.
No.
You know it. Well, say it, buddy.
Yeah.
Say it.
Sure.
What is it? Come on, Caesar. But I'm thinking.
That's not it.
That's not the name of it.
Suck it.
I'm not sure if this is a 90s or a 2000 one.
Give everyone a clue on that one. Yeah, okay, David. Nope. I thought we did give you a clue. So bad. Huh? Well,
I'm so disappointed. I know Dave knows, but I'm so disappointed not everybody knows this.
There you go, folks.
Okay, that's number 3. We got a miss on that one. Next one's going to be relatively easy. I take that back. It won't be.
Leave your relatives out of this, would you?
I can hum it for sure. Shit, so can I. I just heard it.
I think everyone here can hum it at this point.
Okay. All right.
Oh, there should be 18 people guessing this one. So I can't guess anymore. That is correct, Dave.
That is correct, Dave.
Stick a fork in you for tonight, but you did well.
You shot your wad in the first one.
Better than not shooting it at all. I mean, you leave them out there.
I know.
Exactly. Anybody? I thought for sure. Wyoming Dave went to the other room to cry because he can't type.
I'm not so sure he knows this one.
Oh, well, we're not going to find out tonight.
I lived in the holy house.
Probably wasn't what you thought, Nick.
Nope, it wasn't. Oh, David's still here. Sorry, David.
It's a tricky one.
Okay,
Okay,
you know
that's
that
a tricky one.
Wyoming Dave.
All right. Well, all right. The last one I'm doing is kind of easy.
Okay. Kinda easy. Ooh, ask me. I can name the artist too.
Can you name the movie?
Ooh, no. Wait. No, I can't. Hey, I'm 2 for 3.
Mugu Mugu got it.
Stereo, Mugu, yep.
Yep, the Cars. And remember Phoebe Gates on the diving board in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Oh, God, yeah. Yep.
Okay. That's a visual. Very good.
Yeah, everyone else in the gallery had to have known that one.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was a good one. That was fun.
Yeah. All right, so delete that one.
appreciate everyone that's come
in
tonight.
stereo. Move that one. We leave that one. We leave that one. Okay, I'm going to recap a couple of these real quick. Here's the one from the 90s or early 2000s. Cars and the Kinks. That'd be a good show.
I saw Kansas and Cars. Saw a stack of amps fall behind stage where I was seated. There was eight amps stacked on top of each other, and they came crashing to the floor.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, hell of a concert. That was the Spectrum.
Yeah, I know you know that one and Can't Guess, Wyoming Dave. I know that. You know, if you know my channel, you should know this one. Yes, Capital City, Safe and Sound is the name of that. I use it as my intro on my daily audio diet. So we got Caesar on that one. There you go.
Make a comeback.
All right.
There he is. Caesar has 3 now.
I figured I had to just jar your memory there.
Yep. Good job, Caesar.
Yeah, that was good. I'm glad you did that. That's great. Yep. So let's get rid of that. So it looks like I'm going to have a busy April. It looks like the Vinyl Manufacturers Association show that was, or event that was iced out back in January is going to be April 9th and 10th. And then Expona in Chicago is the 10th, 11th, and 12th. So I've got to get from Nashville to Chicago pretty fast to catch those two. But those are two that are coming. That's
going to be a busy.
Yeah, that'll be a busy drive. I think I'm going to drive it and not fly it, but we'll see. There's a couple of opportunities in Nashville I want to look at, and then I've got family up near Chicago, so looking to do that, kind of as well. And so yeah, I've got a couple of records I'm getting ready to spin for shootouts, and one coming from Nick that I'll do as well.
Cranberry Sauce received his Freight album this week. And,
did you?
It's Sonics and Solid Rock. There you go. That goes to answer. Who was it? Arnaldo. Was it Arnaldo saying there's no new rock groups?
Yeah. Right.
Well, there you go. And you
it was Chris. Who's been new rock? It was Chris. Who's now rock groups?
Yeah.
So don't tell that to the Freight.
Arnaldo. Hey,
you haven't seen an email from me. Okay, maybe I need to hit send.
That'll do it every time. Hey,
yeah,
who hasn't been?
Maybe in my draft folder because I know I started it. I'm not coming to VinylCon in LA, unfortunately. I have got a conflict when that's on, so I can't attend that, unfortunately. But I hear there's a lot of cons that do vinyl in LA area, but I'm not going to name any. Yeah. Not going to name any. Yeah, we've got a show here in Dallas in April, I think, as well. Just everything tops on top of itself. It seems like you get just a rush of things at one time.
Yes.
And that's problematic. You can only do so much at one time. No need to name any. No, we won't name any. They're self-descript. We'll just leave it at that.
There's a lot of people that live in LA.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll probably have a guy on, probably maybe pre-recorded. I'm not sure yet who's one of the guys putting together the Vinyl Manufacturers event. To talk about that. And I should be having PB Thal on here in a week or two as well.
That'd be great.
Yeah. When's the question here, Dave? Oh, yeah, I'm going to the event in Kansas. Yeah, definitely. October 16th through the 18th. Oh, Jim Gordon. I hadn't heard this.
No, neither have I.
Drummer, yeah. March. Oh, that's long. You talking about the drummer? Because he died in 23.
Well, he's still dead.
Yeah, he's.
Well, just in case we need any clarification.
I'm gonna try to come at things a little differently with Patrick. Speaking of cons in LA, well, he's not in LA technically.
Not in LA.
Patrick's not in. He's in Northern California, I think. Yeah. Franco may also be. That's an old Saturday Night Live joke, isn't it? Yeah, I remember that. Was it Chevy Chase that said that one? Yeah.
Manson, yeah. Here we go. Look what we started.
Yeah. Manson. Yeah, one of the better musicians. I think he had a sister named Marilyn, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it can be off from 1975. Oh, okay. Oh, the band 1975. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Oh, okay. Phil Spector. Okay, yeah. Well, next we're going to say Bill Cosby. So okay, let's stay out of jail here. Stay out of the recesses.
Oh wait, Jimi Hendrix. Jimmy still?
Yeah. Okay. 70. Yeah. Right. That was the line. Yeah. We remember the one they did of Tom Brokaw. Dana Carvey did a thing of John Brokaw, and he would go, Gerald Ford died today at the age of 76. And then he taped the next one. He go, Gerald Ford today dead at the age 77. They were pre-taping one for each year of when he would die.
Well, I'm glad they didn't do Carter because they would have had a lot of tape to use on him.
I'm 99. You ought to see these peanuts. Anyway.
He was literally a rocket scientist.
Yeah, really. Spinal Tap. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was a good show. That was back in the day when they were doing it good. I think it's been a while.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I've got a lot of DVDs of the different stars where it has all their best ofs, like Gilda Radner, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Dana Carvey. Those are classics. Nothing like it anymore. Nothing like it at all. I was
poking around on cable TV last night, just looking what was on. And there was a Dean Martin roast on. I didn't think they still aired those.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you'd get away with airing them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I'm going to tell Caesar it's his eyes. He said you were all blurry. And I thought, well, you don't look blurry to me. Yeah, Dean Martin roast. I bought a set of those DVDs at Costco for like $20. And they're hilarious. Yep. If you ever go online on YouTube, look up Foster Brooks roasting Don Rickles.
Oh my God, that one's
incredible. It is hilarious.
It's funny too.
I mean, the person laughing the most is Rickles. He just can't stop.
Yeah.
He just can't stop. Yeah. First heard of SNL around May of 76 on a train in France. Right. From an American. You'd been overseas 9 months and not heard about SNL. Oh, man, that's interesting. Yeah, because it started in the fall of 75.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that and SCTV from Canada before that.
Yep.
You know, John Candy, Aykroyd, Catherine O'Hara, who just passed away. I mean, Eugene Levy. I mean, that was every bit as funny.
Yep.
And of course, you got Monty Python in Britain. Of course, you got to get some of that humor,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one the other day. A guy goes in and he goes into a morgue, and the guy, he says, "I got to have you tell me, if this is your wife." And so he pulls back the sheet on the woman, and the guy starts crying. He goes, "It's not her." Oh yeah, Friday Nights with Kramer. Yeah, with Michael Richards. I remember that. That was short-lived. Benny Hill. Oh my God.
Classic.
Yeah, well, in the PC police didn't like that one these days, of course.
No.
And, but a buddy of mine, I'll never forget it. We went out in Houston one time and we're playing pool. We went out to have a breakfast like at 1 a.m, and we sat at this Denny's at the counter at Interstate 10, and this lady came to wait on us, and she looked exactly like Benny Hill dressed up like a woman.
Oh my God.
And we could not stop laughing. And I was playing that music, and they kicked us out of there. We never did get breakfast. But she was spitting in. Well, there was a mayor in Houston named Kathy Whitmire, and she looked like Tootsie.
You had a rough patch there in your life.
I had a rough patch in Houston. Yeah, the women. Yeah, I met my wife in Houston too. But anyway,
That's true.
1 out of 3 ain't bad. So, oh, it was crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you've never seen, the Foster Brooks roasting Don Rickles, and then Monty Python, The Argument Clinic. That one's pretty funny as well. And Faulty Towers, of course, with John Cleese. Huh?
You're here for an argument. No, I'm not.
No, yes, you are.
You just had one. No, I didn't.
You just played for the full hour or just 5 minutes?
Yeah, right.
I told you before. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. This isn't argument. It's contradiction. No, it isn't. Yes, it is.
Yep.
He rings the bell and he goes, "That was never 5 minutes." He says, "I can't argue with you now." He says, "That was never 5 minutes." He says, "Yes, it was." He said, there, you're arguing with me. He said, "I could be arguing on my spare time."
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Nick has a funny laugh. Yeah, well, he does.
Yep.
He's a funny guy. Let's not go through my Arthur.
Oh, I was just about to say a hooker.
Oh, you a hooker? I just thought I was doing great with you. Give her friend $100. She came in second. Don't mind them. I'm used to seeing me with a turtle. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
No need to argue. Isn't that a lyric from somewhere? I think it is.
Yeah.
What it is, I can't. Ron Obnoxious, Jumping the English Channel, sponsored by a brick company.
Yeah.
The Cranberries.
That'd be a good name for a band.
Yeah. Or the Raspberries, whatever. Oh, no. Yeah, it's crazy.
How are we getting viewers?
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, everybody, thank you for joining tonight. We had a little shorter than usual show, but that's okay. I'm glad we were able to get Cimcie on here and improve the look of this show a little bit, if nothing else.
Yes.
Of course, that's not too hard to do. But all right, everybody, have a good week. We'll catch you next Monday at the Audio Quest. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.